All right, welcome in. Come on in, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started with our week 28 Wednesday webinar. If your home is currently on the market and it's sitting instead of selling, you're likely asking yourself the ultimate question. Is it the price, the way it looks, or a bit of both? Well, I'm here today with this webinar to answer those questions. For those of you who don't know, I'm Daphne Brown, your Texas real estate broker and the owner of Beyond the Home Realty here in Rocheron, located in Brazoria County. And today, we're going to open up the playbook on how to get your home sold in this Houston real estate market without looking desperate and them bitches thirsty. So we're going to take a deep dive into home price reduction strategy and the actual consumer psychology required to move today's buyers off the fence. Sounds good? If it does, stick around. We're about to jump right into it. All right. So last week, we looked at how to read the signals the market is sending us. Your showing numbers compared to how many offers you have tell a specific story, and we got into all of the details. So they reveal whether your home has a marketing and exposure problem or a pricing problem. But diagnosing the issue is only half the job. Today is about flawless execution and taking a stagnant listing and turning it into a confident, well-timed fix without guessing and without looking panicked. That's the real flex, right? And so we want to make sure we are showing you exactly how to do that. We're going to look at the psychology behind a price change, which levers to pull first, and whether the old trick of canceling and relisting actually works in today's market. We're going to do that. And so our game plan for today, we'll look at how we bridge the gap between market data and taking action, the behavioral economics behind how buyers view price cuts, and how to choose between updating your listing photos versus cutting the price. And then we're going to bust the biggest myth in real estate marketing. Does relisting actually reset your days on market? And finally, I'm going to walk you through a real world case study where adjusting both the presentation and the price actually saved a local listing right here. What actually goes through a home buyer's mind when they see a price drop? Do you know? Think about it for a minute. Well, we're going to talk about the psychology of the cut. And in behavioral economics, there is a powerful concept called anchoring. The very first price a buyer sees becomes their permanent mental yardstick for your home. If we list the home at, let's just say, $500,000 and then drop it to $480,000, that original number doesn't disappear from the buyer's head. It either makes the new price feel like an incredible deal, or if we started way too high, it signals that we're still asking for too doggone much. It's entirely normal as a seller to resist dropping the price due to loss aversion. We naturally feel the pain of a loss twice as intensely as a gain. That's a real thing. A price correction often doesn't feel like adjusting to the market. It feels like giving up money that was already yours, like somebody putting their hand in your pocket and you don't really want that. They don't feel too good because I ain't tell you to do that, right? Buyers anchor heavily on the first number that they read. Listing a home at, say, let's $499,999 feels significantly cheaper than $500,000, even though that's just a $1 difference. Amazing how that happens. But more importantly, it crosses major real estate search filters on sites like Zillow and Redfin, capturing a completely new wave of buyers. And so if you've ever spoken with a realtor about listing a home, they do things like that. We do things like this, just right underneath that threshold that opens your home up to a whole new pool of buyers. And so right now, about 1 in 3 listings across the country carries a price reduction with a 2% median national price decline year over year. you are definitely not alone if you're navigating this right now. When it comes to selling a house in Rocheron or anywhere in our local market, we want to avoid the stigma spiral. Small scattered price drops is messy, cutting 1 or 2% every few weeks. Those actually can hurt you because to the public, it reads as anxious and reactive and thirsty. Instead of writing an offer, buyers will just wait around to see when cut number 3, cut number 4, cut number 5 is coming. They're waiting and they're not making a move until they see it. Instead, we want a confident, planned approach. One single, meaningful 5 to 8% adjustment when timed deliberately and paired with fresh marketing media introduces a whole new scene. That signals a strategic repositioning and forces buyers to act before someone else beats them to it. So, how do we know which lever to pull first for your property? Let's look at the true impact of professional photography versus changing the price. Before we ever touch the price of your home, we have to ask, has the house actually been seen by the market? High quality professional photography generates 118% more online views, leads to a 32% faster average sale, and nets thousands of dollars more at the closing table compared to phone photos or photos that just don't pop, photos that don't give your home that zhuzh, right? But shockingly, only 15% of active listings use premium photography. Dropping the price on a listing that has weak photos is exactly like putting a sell sign on a storefront when the lights are turned off and the blinds are drawn. It just don't make sense. If online visibility isn't the issue, then price is the hurdle. When we make our move, we want to make it a single confident shift, not a trickle. A tiny 1% nudge doesn't generate interest. We want a 5 to 8% correction to truly capture buyer attention and signal that we are serious sellers and we want to sell this house. We don't just do it on a whim. We plan for this price drop midweek so that it lands on the weekend hot sheets for all the realtors. And we never just change the number alone. There are other things that accompany that. So we pair it with refreshed cover photos, and updated description of the listing so that it feels completely new to the market. Now, sometimes one fix isn't enough. We have to make the both decision, right? If a home has few showings and weak online views, like we talked about last week, we fix the photos first and we hold tight on the price. If it has great showings, but absolutely no offers, the media is working, but the number is wrong. The listing price is wrong. So we adjust the price. But if a listing is weak on every single measure, we relaunch the photos and the price simultaneously. We don't want to waste weeks testing one variable at a time while the days on market stack up, because we know that that means not something good for the seller, right? And we want to always make sure that we're doing everything we can to get that home sold without a stigma being attached to the listing. So now let's tackle the single most repeated myth in the entire real estate industry. And that is, does canceling and relisting a home actually reset your days on market? Well, you might hear people say that canceling and relisting creates a brand new listing and hides the past from buyers, but the reality is it does not. I'm sorry. Cumulative days on market almost always survives a quick relist. Most MLS systems require a property to sit completely off the MLS for some time before the clock truly resets. And if you manage to trick the MLS, buyer portals like Zillow and Redfin display the entire property history anyway. And so relisting is a stage reset, not a disguise. We don't want to try to trick people, right? Now, before an agent hits cancel on a listing, you need to understand the risks. Relisting under 30 days often gets flagged as back on the market rather than new to the market, which fools not nobody, okay? So rapid cancel and relist patterns, that's not good at all because that can even be penalized and seen as listing manipulation under some of the MLS rules. The only legitimate reason to do this is a deliberate Wednesday relaunch to land on those Thursday hot sheets right as buyer agents are building their tour lists for the weekend. When clients ask me about the trick, I'm always transparent with them. I tell them, listen, I can absolutely relist your home, but buyers and their agents can often still see it on the market before. And our MLS has strict rules about doing this so fast. What actually moves the needle isn't a new listing number. It's giving buyers a genuine reason for them to look again. We want an honest strategy, not a temporary trick, because we don't like tricking people, right? Oh, that's great, All right. So now let's look at how this works in real practice. Here's a real world case study showing exactly how this playbook works to get a stagnant home sold. This one is a specific home that was initially listed at $358,000 with standard photos, no zhuzhing up. And so in the first 2 weeks, it only got 3 showings and had very weak online presence. That signal pointed directly to a marketing and exposure problem. So first, we held the price tight, but we fixed the presentation by changing our photographers, presenting stunning professional photography. The first photographer, he was okay. But what I have learned is we don't use the same photographer if we are selling a country estate, a home on acreage versus a home in a community, right? We need people to really work in their area of expertise. And so we changed this one up. And when we did, we saw online views jump immediately, which generated 7 showings in one single week. But then the buyer feedback shifted. They loved the look, but consistently mentioned the price compared to nearby comps. So because we fixed the visibility, we successfully uncovered the real pricing problem, right? It was a pricing problem, and we were able to understand that. So on day 22, we executed a strategic 3% midweek price adjustment, and within 6 days, we went under contract and successfully closed at $346,500 in just 30 total days on the market. Yay! All right. Now, let's take a look at the hard numbers. We went from 3 showings to 7 after the marketing refresh, and then secured our winning offer just 6 days after the price adjustment. Fixing the visibility allowed us to accurately see the pricing problem, and one well-timed move successfully closed the deal. And this is what we do with every transaction. We don't just close a transaction and close up the file. Oh, we're done. That was, that one was good or that one was bad or whatever it was. We don't just close it up. We go and we review the numbers because we learn information that we apply to the next listing. All right. Here's a quick checklist we use to get homes sold. So first, we look at whether the problem lies in showings or online views. And second, if views are low, we audit the presentation, ensuring that we have professional photos and a killer property description. And third, if we have plenty of showings but no offers, we listen to what the market is saying about nearby comparable sales. And finally, when we move the price, we make it one single meaningful shift. We time it perfectly and we pair it with fresh media. So if you have a home on the market right now that's just not moving, here are 3 things that you can do this week. Run the ratio on your listing or ask a realtor. Look at your showing traffic versus your offers. Audit the photos. If the listing media is older than 60 days or if you have fewer than 20 images, get you a professional refresh booked before you ever touch the price. I feel like all listings need at least 35 photos. And the more land you have, the bigger the yard size, the more listing photos you need. That's just my rule of thumb. Okay. And finally, of those 3 things, the last thing is map out your pricing conversations with your realtor in advance so you can confidently execute one single meaningful adjustment rather than trying to chase the market down. All right. So that is what we have for today's Wednesday webinar. It was kind of short, but we needed to make sure that we were to the point and make sure that we could succinctly roll out the information so that it was easy to digest. So next week, we're going to dive into how to protect your numbers once an offer is on the table, including negotiation psychology, dealing with appraisal gaps, and navigating repair requests. We've previously mentioned and talked about those a little bit in prior weeks. We're going to break it down again because we like to, in real estate, you'll see that if you have a home on the market, if you're selling a home, you may have one or two offers that maybe the first offer you don't accept. And so maybe the second offer you do, but you're going to have those same conversations from one offer to the next. And we want to just make sure that you are prepared. If you have a property currently listed in the Houston suburbs or Brazoria County, and it's just sitting there, let's connect. Let's connect for a conversation. I wouldn't be your realtor at that point if it's already on the market, but there are some things I can probably help you with if it's just nothing more than looking at your photos. If you are ready to buy or sell real estate here in the Roche area or anywhere in the Houston suburbs and Brazoria County, I'm your girl, and you can get in touch with me by reaching out to me. You can scan here, and that takes you to our website. You can also look here, and you see the website here, as well as my email address and phone number, okay? So you can do that. If you're not ready to buy or sell, if you're just thinking about it, hey, I may be ready to have a conversation to figure out what I need to do. What are the building blocks? We can help you with that as well, right? So you can also call me directly, like I said here. If you have a home and you're not quite sure what your home could be worth, go ahead and scan here because that will give you an immediate price to start off with. And then, of course, I would have to visit the home to help you kind of get those numbers, locked in a little bit better. But again, go ahead and scan these if you want to know the value of your home, or scan here if you want to schedule a call with me. Now, I want to remind you that these webinars are recorded on Wednesday and we drop them on Sunday. Sunday drops at noon. Sunday drops at noon every week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you know of anyone who needs some real estate source, has some real estate questions that they'd like to get answers to in real time, you don't have to wait until Wednesday. You can just, hey, I got a girl, I got somebody for that. Let me send you her information. Have them call me. But if they are, more comfortable joining the webinar or looking at the YouTube videos from the past webinars, hey, we have a playlist. They can dive deep into those things. But I'm your homegirl with Beyond the Home Realty, and I would love to help you find your way home. Till next week, guys. Bye. Okay, so boom, just like we mentioned, this is 28 weeks that we have been at this Wednesday webinar, and we're going to continue it all of 2026. And we have covered so many topics that make it easy to confidently sell and confidently purchase in the Houston and surrounding areas. But check it out. Don't take my word for it. We got a whole playlist that we're going to show you. And right now on the screen, we're showing you some of the topics that we've already covered. If you'd like to see us build a Wednesday webinar around a real estate topic that we haven't already talked about, drop down in the comments, let us know. Text your girl, email us, and we would be more than happy to cover it. So check out the playlist here, watch and watch again, and watch again if you need to. And while you're at it, don't forget to do all of the YouTube things. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you care, and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss any time we drop a new video.